All right, welcome back. Yeah, so it's a really long lag on this stream, but I'm trying to respond to people's feedback when something's wrong. Hopefully, you were able to see most of the whiteboard drawings. Not much text info, luckily, but a lot of vocal stuff. So on our goals, we routed to another page, so that's done. And so how do we mark this? I guess X. And then we also whiteboarded the maps and what the API looks like, at least for tiles. And then the actual map itself is something that I don't expose to you. It's just a square. And then now we want to visit some sprites that might look cool. And the next thing we do is start to build this tile editor that I drew out. So let's start looking around. I'm going to switch to zoom mode. Kind of learn a little bit about sprites. So, free sprites, opengameart.org. Cool. So it looks like there's some cool stuff out there. Browse. Let's take a look at 2D art. Looks like some nice, friendly stuff. We have some tiles, characters, whatever else. So let's let's look at some of the basic tiles. So basically what this gave us was a PNG. I wonder if I can open this. Yeah, cool. So we can see we have like basically a series of sprites. Here's some of the grasses I was talking about. Yeah, so to start, we don't need to make something that's like a Pokemon clone. We can just start making something pretty simple. So maybe just a dungeon escape kind of thing. I think a nice minimal working set will be we have a dungeon with some walls, so some inaccessible things, and then there's a door, and you need the key to open the door. So that'll probably take us at least into next week to really implement. But for now, we can at least build the dungeon and then start playing a game where we just try to open doors and get out. So this thing looks like, is this just a link to where it's hosted? Okay, cool. So maybe we can just throw this together and then grab a certain position in the CSS. So let's say we have this main CSS. Right now I think we have something for a game tile. So this is going to be dynamic, so actually I need to do this in the actual game. Background image. So we got a suggestion from the stream about maybe the is accessible. So what I was planning to add here is accessible being a Boolean, right? Maybe this should just be a type of tile. So we have type tile is either accessible or inaccessible. Two C's. So that seems pretty reasonable to me. The question I have is, how does that look as a shape for data? I guess they would look exactly the same, but I need some way for them to tell me that this thing is accessible or not, even with a JSON document. So I just don't have enough information. This could be a union type in terms of all the different ways that this tile could be represented, but if it's not a different shape, and it's not going to be, if they still need to provide a background image and a name. So I think right now it still makes sense to keep it as a Boolean. But okay, he also, M. Blarson, first off, hello. Thanks for writing this stuff up. you're saying it could be free, solid, conditional. Okay. Yeah, so basically what he's suggesting is that there's like free to access all the time, inaccessible, so like maybe it's like just cannot access, and then conditional access. And that might be nice. And I like this pattern a lot, but I just don't know that how this differs in shape, like how we can recognize when we get imported data as JSON for each of those types. So by the time you hear this, because there's a long delay, feel free to respond and we can revisit this. In the meantime, I'm just going to go forward with Boolean, but keep this here as a note to self. So let's just say is accessible. We'll start everything as true. It's tell us true. And for a tile, accessible is cool. Let's return background image. So image is a HTML. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't matter. Cool, no issues. All right. So this is where we put this tile image. So let's see what happens when we throw in the image we found on OpenGameArt. So some basic tiles. We can go to game. Cannot read property CTOR of undefined. Interesting. It seems like no, that was just like a weird bug with the build process. So okay, now we have the whole the whole thing of tiles. So looks like we should definitely sprite maps, CSS, background image, image sprites. Let's learn about image sprites. So something 0, 0 is where we start. We'll start at the top left corner. Okay, we took that away from us. Let's see what it's talking about. Background div. What happens if we so nothing in that case. So it defines a small transparent image. Okay. It defines the portion of the image that we want to see. Yeah, we have that. Okay. Background defines the background image in its position left 0 pixels, top 0 pixels. That's what I thought. So what happens if we have like 10 pixels? And 10 pixels. So let's oh, background, not background image. That's why. Okay, cool. So let's say we go 30. Let's see, okay. So there we go. So this is left and top, I believe, is the order. These. We come back to this. Yeah, it goes left and then top. So let's start with shifting it over. And then we need to like zoom into this thing. So, or at least make these tiles bigger. Yeah, they're really small. So CSS sprites. The other thing is that this is, yeah, this does not blow up very well. As you can see, like if we want it to be this big, it's not too great. But the thing is, we could repeat each of these, but not all of them. Like it's not that great for scaling that. I wonder if there's a way to do so. So let's figure out. I'm curious if other images are any bigger. I know there's some like things to do with how we can make those look better. iPack, fantasy. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty cool that people are sharing all this art for free that they've worked on. RPG tiles sounds like a perfect match for us. So let's say paths and objects. Open. All right, this looks better scaled. Let's just start with this. Cool. So that looks closer to what we want. Let's just say we move these positions. Let's go back to 0 and 0. Awesome. That looks surprisingly good. It's like matched to the size that we want. I do wonder how many pixels it actually is. So let's say that there was, let's go back to main CSS. The game tile is currently 100 pixels. Is it like 110? Or are they actually 100 pixels by 100 pixels? It looks like height-wise, they might be like 90. Let's see what happens when we go 95. 100. So in 100, it gets a little bit of the path. Just curious here. It's the actual. Let's go at 97. Okay. And what happens when we go to like 120 pixels? Okay, that's definitely wrong. 100 pixels. Maybe we just need to do a square of 97 by 97. All right, that looks pretty good. Cool. Now let's get something for our character because he's really ugly, or she. Okay, so Larson also said, so is the door a tile or a thing on a tile like a rock? Back to the example where I was saying being able to enter a room or a different map. That's interesting. I think it's anything that goes into the, it either goes into the movement or interactables thing. I don't know whether to make that an action that the user can take by pressing a button or by movement. So I guess we probably have to expose it by both because there's going to be people that want to be able to interact with the door by pressing like a button on the keyboard, and then it brings up a menu and says, do you want to use a key, or just a thing that you can walk through to get to another thing. So I think that those are two cases. There probably needs to be doors that are still present on the interactables level, but where they are informs also the movements that can be made. So those layers may be more intermingled than I drew out in that whiteboard. And I'll have to think about that for next week. But we're not there yet, and I want to think about it. So please, I think I'll be I'm on the ElmLang Slack, and anyone else should go there to get questions answered and talk about cool things like this. And there's a game dev channel, so I'll probably reach out to some people about what their experience is with this. And I don't do any professional game development, so I haven't thought through a lot of these problems before. I've mostly just thought about what kind of things I want to solve, but not necessarily those solutions. All right. So let's figure out a sprite that we can put on for this ball. Where was the open game art? Cool. So there's some characters that we've got. I think I saw a knight, which was pretty cool. Classic hero. Why are all the classic heroes always white? Well, at least this one's a cool knight. So, yeah, let's see what this looks like. Pretty cool. I don't know if it's exactly the size and scale we want, but no harm in trying. So that's probably something we always want to start with, at least for now. We'll customize players much later. So background, URL. Whoa, that's cool. And then we just want to do any kind of fill. We don't probably need that whole hat color thing. So let's remove that. Well, you know what? Let's just make it dynamic while we can. So we already have a field here. Let's have this be sprite, like the character sprite. And we got a string for what it is. And then what was the thing called? Hat color. Let's replace that with sprites. Sprite. Pretty easy. Background. We'll say what the sprite's link is. And then we will go ahead and do the same deal. So let's have that thing. Let's take this and make this into a function. So set background as sprite, some sprite URL. Yeah, and tile that image. Set background as sprite, tile that image. And then here we'll do it again. Set background as sprite. This one's going to be model dots, flavor dots, sprite, I believe. Something's wrong. The sprite we're passing in. And set background as sprite. Take some string and returns a string and another string. So next style rules. Art of, yeah, what's this? Interesting that there's like a watermark on this knight. Oh, yeah. Artwork. Well, that's cool. But also, how do I use it if it's open? It'd be nice to know. So, but it's pretty cool that we could have different images of them running. Doesn't say anything about how to grab this. Maybe we need to download it. So, show us this. Yeah, and the sprite that I'm seeing in the PNG. I'm going to take this, add a assets directory, I guess. Probably doesn't belong in source. And I'm a bit confused on how this works. So let's just, for right now, throw it into source. That's where main CSS and stuff is. Well, actually, let's see what this looks like. So this is created by create Elm app, by the way. You'll see all the documentation in the README. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I think this gets injected here. I don't know where any of the stuff gets hosted. So let's just try doing we don't need anything in here. We just need to define this in the map. So instead of this URL, we're going to want to grab this from our current directory. So I'm going to go to my Finder, drop this into what's this thing called again? RPG framework. Okay, drop this into source. Now we see it's here. Very cool. And let's see if we can. Sprite is spellum sprite. .png. Yeah. That didn't work. Spellum-sprite. Oh, spellun. Nothing. Just to be sure I'm not crazy. Okay. And then let's try source slash. Nope. Nope. Whenever there's any documentation on assets. No. So I might make an issue on the repo just to say that this can be a little better documented for where to put my static assets. Actually, this would really be something uploaded eventually. So really where I'm going to put my media files. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with web development, there's basically static assets which you always have, like logos, branding, whatever. And then you have dynamic things, which is usually like your media, things you're going to store on a file server for someone. So yeah, this will eventually be dynamic. Let's see, maybe the way to get this is just like this. Nope. I will try one more thing, and that's just going to be to make an assets folder and move that into it. Doesn't look like it. So I guess we'll just travel with the watermark for now, and then I'll figure this out outside the stream, and then recap about it later, because it's kind of a dull issue. Well, interesting, actually. So I just loaded up, but not hot reloaded up. So just curious right now if this does work. Oh, whoa. There we go. Okay, I just had to refresh. Awesome. Wow, this is cool. So we can remove that. And now we can actually grab another animation of him walking. So let's grab one more. Interesting. Yeah, so I could do 3 different ones. So he's orange. I want the orange one in the middle. And I guess I could do some animation, but I don't have another state of him with his legs in another position. But at least I can have moving and not moving. But maybe that's outside of today, because that means I need to do some work with having the player have a state of moving, or just like when that transition's happening. And there's no animation currently between, so that's a little more work. I think it's a lot. It's not in our goals. So, but anyways, so we got this. We got some sprites in. Now it looks better. And I will add and commit this. Added sprite from add sprites from open game art. The other thing is we should probably download the other like paths and objects. So Yeah, let's do that real quick. As an objects. Grab this. Throw it into assets. Now let's see if we can get that working. Instead of some URL that we shouldn't keep hitting. HTTP. Okay. Path and objects. PNG. Assets. Do we need to do this is hard for you to see probably. Are there my things open? Yeah, it looks right. Cool. Okay, awesome. Remove URL loading for map sprites. So it's cool that the game looks better already. Another thing I'm noticing is that the night's being cut off a bit with the round circle that we don't need anymore. That would just distinguish from anything else. So goodbye border radius. And now we're also saying that his width and height is 80%. What if we just didn't? Now he disappears. So what if it's 100%? Cool, cool. A little bit of repeat. How do we say CSS background property? I want to say no repeat. So I believe it's just 0, 0, no repeat, but I just want to be sure about this. No repeat, fixed center. Okay. No repeat, fixed center. And okay. So also noticing that this has been on the wrong scene for a while. Only browsing my browser. Sorry about that. I think this stream has motivated me. I need another monitor because switching between this is really error prone. It's very easy to mess up. So this is the thing that you probably didn't see before. Currently, we're doing no repeat center. So what happens if it's 90%? Well, actually, looks good. So I'm just gonna leave it with that for now. All right. So now we're removing night. That would cancel out our goal for sprites. So let's start with the tile editor. Let's commit this real quick. Tweak the night CSS. And start working on map builder. So let's add a link real quick to this page. Let's see how that looks. On our game, let's throw in something for a link to another page. This is game board. Let's pretend that we have some cool things like a toolbar. That will be eventually optional. So they can navigate our app, and then some kind of the actual game. So view game. So model, So this toolbar, let's have just a button for now, and it'll be on click. We'll go to map builder. So let's define that as a message type. Go to map builder. I'm curious in Evan's URL parser that has the same setup as ours. And there was on click. So let's not click here if there was a UI thing. I think this is all on like enter. So enter new page. Okay. So he's really just updating the page, and then he's saying navigation do a side effect. This is really nice. So routing is really simple then. So we've got call the new page. I have a new page. Just go to the page, and we're sending it the model. Well, this is like a new page, actually, because we're just changing the field in the model. Or I guess the model up here. So map builder is going to be that, and this page is, I guess we can just do this. We need to go with the let statement. And then we're going to say, what side effects do you want? Well, I want navigation to have a new URL to add to history. We're going to say /hash for map builder. So I see why he defined this here, because we don't write it twice here. In case there becomes arguments, maybe this makes sense. So I'm gonna keep it going. So we have some error. And it's saying that the class game board. There's no definition for the function. It's the annotation. On click. So let's do HTML.events. And click. And in fact, this is doing a lot of HTML work and not a lot of page work. So let's just expose events, all the stuff. Okay, so that's another thing too. So this map builder is not actually a that's in main, and so I'm curious how this is supposed to get passed down. So I guess the routes and all this union type should exist only in main. So if we're in main, we want to expose this. I guess we should expose the function that we passed out. Trying to figure out how this works in terms of a single page app when it's not all on the same model. So we have two different models because they're two different applications, building a map and running a game. One moment, so we're checking something. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so this is the top level pages. So to say that I want you to navigate to a different page, yeah, this is actually not inside the game model. So this works totally as a thing higher up. So I'm interested in how do we define an on-click that changes. Go to map builder. I guess what we could do is give it a string and have it be a function from the top level, say like go to a page. So like something like this. Go to page, and then let's say map builder. But the thing there is though, go to page would be defined on main, and you can't have that circular import. So, I'm interested in how this problem is solved. Because ideally in this model, I would reach up. I wouldn't reach. I would just say, "Oh, hey, parent, so you're notified. This is what I want you to do," and then that parent would do something on that message. So I could return in this update. I can return a command, but I could also return like another thing saying like parent message to do routing. So that's an idea, but I don't want to start with that now since I'm not convinced that it's the best pattern. I want to see what other people are doing in the community before I go into one of those. So we'll just comment this one out. And definitely circle back on this next time. So this definitely belongs in the main as a type of update. So let's throw that in. It could definitely be more generic in terms of like go to page, and we could also return the side effects that we want it to run. So, but for now, let's just say it's some page, and there we go. So let's go to page, go to page. All right, and then in the game, we'll remove that. Go to map builder line, and then view toolbar. All right, so right now we'll at least define it. We just won't do anything with that button. So. Okay. Still getting a white screen here. Go to page. Okay. That's because on main we have go to page taking an argument, which is the page. Interesting. What is 2# cube again? That takes type of page. So go to page. It's because I put it in the wrong thing. That's the type of page versus the type of message. So, okay. We're back here. That was a failed venture for a bit. But it's good to think about, all right, this, I think what we need to do is basically pass information from the top level down so that things can access what's going on down there, so that we can actually route and get information like who's the current user and whatnot. So I saw a talk at ElmConf, and basically Aussie Hinahan gave a talk on making a large Elm app beyond to-do list, I think it's called. You should look it up on YouTube. But basically he talks about the context pattern, which is passing a record with any relevant information to your app. So just in your view here, you would also, given this is the main, but let's say we were in game. So let's say there's some view, and here we would also take a context record, and then this context might have context.user, and that would be nice stuff to have globally. But it's not stored in your model for your page. It's just passed around as kind of a thing that every function needs to know about for each view. So let's go with just that code commented out, and we should probably start at number 4. So added go to page message. All right, now we gotta do this tile editor thing. So let's go to. Did I break something in that commit? I totally did. I still wrote that out. Oops. Good thing I'm not deploying production code. Alright. So now, we want to work on the map builder. So we're going to go to map builder. Let's start modeling this thing. So what does a map builder need to know about? It needs to know about the tile that we're currently editing. So tile. So what is a tile? Tile is going to have a name. We should probably share this definition from the other file, because it's going to need both these things to be valid. So yeah, let's do that, because we're about to define the exact same thing. I don't think there's going to be any difference in shape between these. So let's make a new file called gameboard. That out, and we'll share tile. Here. So import gameboard, exposing tile. This would be gameboard, and then main. Throw in this. This is useful here. I like to keep my imports organized by like libraries and then my stuff. So gameboard, exposing tile, and then we have some tile. We do not have that here. We don't have that here. We do have it here. So actually in main, I don't think I need it. I actually needed it in game. Let's see if that changed things for us. Is the game still working? Nope. So it's not match. Ah, no tile, okay. There's a problem here. Yeah, because I changed this. Let's do an init for this tile as well. So we have init tile. Give it some name, some image. It's always how to be accessible. And then the game. Let's say init tile. And here we can also expose init tile. And then let's just call build tile. init tile, and we'll give it two things, probably the same ones for this one. On the grass and whatever this one is. But in this case, we're going to start with an empty string, and then we're also going to start with an empty URL. So I think it actually makes sense just to do this. Yeah. So here's our game back again. I lost the character because I'm really good at bounds. Then map builder. There we go. Now we have this tile. So let's just throw on some view for a tile. So what should this look like? Let's build like a little, let's just build the view a tile. And we've got some tile. We want to look at what it looks like for its different states. And we provided different amounts of it. So message. Okay. So let's say view tile builder. So there's going to be a view tile builder, and there's going to be a view tile. So view tile can probably be reused because it's always what it's going to look like. Maybe not, because there's player and all of that stuff in there. Because that's children. I could just define no children and pass that in, but let's just not reuse and copy paste and then decide later if it's general enough to reuse this function. So time. Class game tile. And then we need this logic, and that. So set background as sprite. That might be useful as like a helper method. So let's make set background as sprite. Don't know why I didn't name that .m. Let's go back to game. Set background. These 3 lines. I don't know why I named this either. We'll just say helpers for now. Helpers.m. So in here, helpers, and the map builder, import helpers. Cool. So now let's have some kind of tile builder, which will say an input field. It's got a value, and now we just leave it empty, but it should be hooked up to our model. So what else do we need to build a tile? This should really, build tile is a bad name. Build tile should be renamed to tile preview. Cool. So we have a tile preview. We've also got a tile name. The current tile's name for the. So right now we have an input. I guess that's when you're creating a new type of tile. We also have to be able to have a drop down of current tile names we created. So we have tile name, and then we also want to have a tile image, which is string. So cool. Tile name, set that star as nothing. Image. That's good. Now we're going to, for our view tile, we're going to view a tile, given model dot tile preview. And we're also going to view the tile builder. We'll just pass the model right now. So, value. So on input, we're going to change our, we're going to need HTML events exposing, let's expose everything for now. One of those being on input. And on input, we want to set and the value can be model.tilename. Then the other thing we need to show up on the screen, let's just deal with that later. And set tile name. It's one of our message types. Case message of. Here, need to plug in a Mac. Go. So case message of set tile name. And then we're going to have some string from the input. And so we're going to update the model where tile name is equal to that name that comes in. The value here is, actually it's not child, I don't know why I put that there. It's an attribute of the input. And we will not touch that yet. HTML attributes value. Okay, so let's expose everything for now. Now we have no issues. Let's see what this looks like. I think we still got set background sprite. Interesting that that's giving me trouble still. Let's see if our game works because we're using the same thing. It does not find module name.elm. Did I rename something? So we've got helpers, game board, game. Those all look good. Map builder. Where is this happening? Game.elm. So set background. Right here. Helpers. Okay, so the game's working again. And we got this thing going. So, yeah, let's name this tile grass. And then we also want to be able to pick an image. So, yeah, let's set that up. It'll be pretty cool to see it live come in. So, another input for now. On input, set tile image. Value model dot tile image. Nothing, no children. So set tile image string. Cool. So we have these two things terribly labeled. Let's put some kind of label in front of them. So text, say file name, tile image. Okay, and then this thing should be our preview. So we give it grass, and then let's see what happens when. So we're viewing the tile. Now.tile preview. Let's say that this is our tile image. Let's see if this thing gets updated correctly. So yes, we need to change the tile when that comes in. So we have this image. We also want to affect the actual tile preview. So we want to change the tile. So we'll just also update when this happens. We will also do tile preview equals so it's a record that's nested, so we probably don't want, we want something easy to be able to update this here, but let me just show you what I mean. So let previous tile, so like old tile, equals tile preview, model.tile preview, and then tile preview equals, we'll just say new tile actually, and we'll do this, and we'll say new tile equals tile preview where the name, that's what it's called, yeah, equals this name as well. And then we can just say this equals new tile. So we'll do a familiar thing up here, down here as well, I mean. And tile preview, new tile. We can definitely make this a little nicer in the future, but this one will be image. So cool. Here's our image. Let's see if there's like a, I think it was, there you go. Nice. This is our night. Cool. So now we can make tiles to some degree. And we can definitely style this better. Yeah, I'm still confused exactly on what to do about like what the tile size should be, what people are, like just basically should I tell people always have 97 pixels by 97 pixels. I kind of want to find out from the game dev channel what's a good way to standardize the size for this. The other question is like, do I want to be mobile friendly? You know, what can I do? Do I just have a couple different states like very small tiles, medium size, and then like large desktop? Those are some good questions. Right now, let's just commit this and say we can make tiles now. So that's cool. And what was next on our list? Build a tile editor. All right, we kind of did it. And then start a map builder. Well, it's almost 2 hours in. I don't know if I want to take a stab at the map builder just yet. So basically what I could do is reuse a lot of the code from the actual map. And yeah, basically grab this matrix, you know, create a bunch of tiles, exclude everything about the player. And then in the next stream, I can simply, let's see if this is better than I'm done. So I think in the next stream, what I'll do is actually start the interface itself for listing. What I can do real quick before I finish this stream will just be to make a couple different tiles in the tile toolbar. And then I'll pretty much call it quits at that point. But then the next screen, definitely get to take this toolbar and be able to select things that you've made, like a list of tiles. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do right now is just make a list of tiles that you've created, and you can just kind of say enter, like, I made this is like a good one for me, and then just kind of save those. The other thing is that this will eventually definitely need a backend. So I'm not sure if I want to be streaming the backend development for this. I can kind of put out a question and find out if people want that. I'm not even sure if the backend will be in yet, but yeah, I'd like to stay on the front end stream. So I can't get over moving a little night on some cool paths. So let's go back to the map builder and say, right now we're just viewing one tile preview. So this is our current like building thing. So view, so really view tile is view tile preview. View tile, this is really like, I think the tile builder might want to have the tile preview in it with it. I think that kind of belongs there. And then what we can do here is view finished tiles, or view created tiles. So model. So view created tiles. It's going to have a list of tile message. Another div, another day. We're going to create, we're going to view each tile. I think even tile preview is fair, right? Like there's nothing happening there. So view tile preview. So maybe preview is not a good name. So view tile, lots of tiles. And really what I want to pass here is model dots created tiles. So we need to take this, add it to our model. List of tile. Got an issue. Tiles, yep. Start that off as empty. Map builder. So we need some way of saying like this tile is done. So let's say create a tile. Create a tile. Model where created tiles equals preview added onto the currently created tiles. And then what we also want to do is probably clear the inputs for that stuff. So we'll also say tile image is going to be empty again. Tile preview is going to be empty again. And not tile preview so much as tile name. Yeah, let's put that in the right order. And tile preview is going to be fresh start. So that means init tile, empty, empty. And we'll have to return no commands. Find variable tile preview. It's on the model. Cool. So let's see how this looks. We'll call this grass, I guess. then we'll call path and objects. Assets. Can we do it without this? Yeah, cool. So assets, path, and objects. Grass tile. So now if I hit, oh man, I didn't actually. I wonder if this thing reloads. Like how it reloading. This would be cool to find out. So in this tile builder, I'll say button on click create the tile. And text will be create tile. Awesome. So there we go. There's one of our tiles. If we have a knight, which doesn't make sense as a tile, but you know, only have 2 images. Okay, cool. So yeah, and if we create this one, yeah, that goes to the top there. But generally, that's our thing that we want to be able to drag and drop from and select. So now we have currently a list of tiles, which I'm trying to think if that model makes sense for us going forward. If we have a drop down, we give the list, and then someone selects one of the ones on the list. I think that makes sense for us right now. So let's commit with some tiles. We're not doing any form validation, by the way. It's like, you know, free strings. It can look terrible. So we'll definitely want to make sure that there is some name. So if you're wondering how form validation works in Elm, it's really no different than like checking the state of what this model is, and then telling you, using business logic to say, is this okay or not? So basically, if the tile name is empty, or if the tile image is empty, or if it's already taken, then those are validation steps. So I think what we'll do next time is just make this a little more robust by having it check to see, is the tile name already in the list of tiles that you've created? Is the tile image already in the list of images you've already provided, because we don't want duplicates, I'd assume. And then that would be the same. So maybe these need to be sets instead of lists. So that's a really simple check then. And then the preview, yeah, maybe some validation to make sure that like it only shows up when things are in it, or it has some kind of state where it's like, please fill me out. Yeah, so that's what we'll do next time, is make this more robust. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah, see, I can just create arbitrary tiles here. But look, I'm making a map. It's so easy. Cool. So thanks for tuning in again. Gonna throw this up on YouTube hopefully in a day or so. And the next time, hopefully we've built the way for some interesting stuff. I'll definitely come in prepared for some drag and drop stuff. I haven't worked on it before, so I'll definitely make sure to explain the thought process. But in general, I'll have like rehearsed at least once of making sure that it'll work. So see ya, and thanks for coming by.